Oh, hello everyone. Welcome to another round of strategic non-compliance. Me here with Mike Blue Hair, as usual. And anyway, we are going to cover some other quite interesting stuff that does affect people who do YouTube videos and all that stuff, and could possibly also affect other people. Well, people that are activists and all that stuff with their content. Mike, you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here and ready to do the show.
Ah, yes. So let us go ahead and the person that helps provide us with our little intro music and all that stuff has a special message to put out for his audience. And as is, I'm gonna go ahead and play that for us, Mike. So I'll make sure that you're able to hear it because I'm just going to feed the audio through Discord. Here, dang it, where is it? There we go. Okay, so let me get this properly brought up and all that. I'm a little bit slow today, guys, so you have to forgive me on that aspect. I didn't get much sleep. Alright, and then over here. There we go. Everybody should be able to see that, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play so this message can get out there to anybody that might use TechnoX music later on.
Believe Music, a totally not fake company that is totally legit and is absolutely the driving force for the success of Queen? Yep, these guys are legit. They even met Freddie Mercury and got his permission to use this picture for their promo. These guys are such a success that their YouTube channel has gained a whopping 2.4 thousand subscribers. Oh, but their Twitter has a golden 4.7 thousand followers. Yep, you can totally see how Believe Music personally oversaw Queen's launch into the mainstream and got them over 2 billion views on YouTube. They are totally not a scam company, and their website is totally legit, with non-fake email addresses and a totally responsive legal form that absolutely goes to their department, and they promptly respond to their issues where their artists have claimed stuff that are not theirs. As you can tell by now, I'm having a bit of a beef with this company. Believe Music is a content ID company, and it has a habit claiming music works that aren't theirs on other people's videos. You can see people raging on their YouTube page, videos on YouTube, and Google searches. Clearly you can see that these people have no problem making existence for YouTubers absolutely miserable in hopes of making $1 or $2 off of your work, claiming stuff they did not produce. This includes royalty-free music samples, and this is where I come in. At the beginning of March, I began receiving claims against videos that used one of my tracks, Technopop 7B. So did a lot of my users. I produced this track in January of 2013, and I've since used the track a few more times in mixes and also some update tracks. This is my third most popular track on my YouTube channel, and as you can imagine, a lot of other people have used this track as well. And I know a lot of you guys have been hit as well. Believe Music is claiming on behalf of a guy named Joher Vadaima, who's used 10 seconds of my track as an intro to 2 of his comedy sketches, which really sound like crappy recordings of a random conversations outdoors. I don't know, I don't speak the language. For those of you affected by these scam claims, I do have somewhat of a solution that you can utilize to get your videos released if they've been claimed by Believe Music. Linked in the description is a video legal page on this site, and it is the only way I've been able to get them to respond, albeit sluggishly and in my view not sufficiently. I filled out their form and gave them an iTunes link and ISRC number to Technopop 7B, which I will also provide in the description. You can give them those pieces of information in the description of copyrighted works field to convince them that they don't own your video content. As you can imagine though, though, I'm not happy with this solution. For the last 7.5 years, I've prided myself on being a musical resource for the YouTube community, and I've made a good effort to keep my music safe for you to use in your videos. Every so often, users will come up to me with their videos being claimed by someone, and I may even start to get claimed myself. When this happens, I go directly to the people claiming the video, like CD Baby or The Orchard Music, and file takedown notices to the offending material directly to their website or legal email. Usually the matter is resolved within a week, but not Believe Music, who seem to be playing dumber than dumb at this point. I don't want any of my users to have to go through these guys. Each and every one of the tracks that I've produced for this channel should be safe to use for your videos no matter what. I don't normally ask for your help, but at this point I need to get the word out about this scam company. YouTube has allowed this company to hurt their creators with absolute impunity, and they need to be stopped. This has gone on long enough. Please share this video with your friends and YouTubers that you know. Mirror the video if you like, or if you're a creator who has been affected by Believe Music, whether they were claiming for one of my tracks or music from elsewhere, please make a video about how Believe Music has affected you. Thank you very much for your support over the years. I'm not the greatest at showing my face and speaking to you guys in person, but I'm absolutely thrilled that you guys have enjoyed my music and use it in your creations. I would very much like to continue my role here on YouTube for as long as the platform exists. Have a great day.
So, essentially what's going on is someone took, well, this company here, or someone within the company took his music and submitted to this company that's able to do content ID claims and said it was theirs. And so what happens is Believe There will get a cut of the money if a forceful content ID claim is pushed on someone's video. And when you get a content ID claim pushed against you, all the ad revenue from that video, whether you have AdSense or whether it's monetized or not, goes straight to that company. It does not go to you at all. As a broadcaster, I have dealt with these companies in my past on different kinds of videos, ranging from just the sound of maybe wind blowing in the background to literally random off-the-wall music that had no relation at all to an artist, and then putting that kind of thing going, yeah, they don't have a content ID claim for this specific thing because it isn't what it says. These things and content ID claims are very hard to dispute in many circumstances. What do you think, Mike?
You know, I like the aspect of private property rights. I think everyone has a right to monetarily profit from what, you know, basically the sweat of their own brow. And this is nothing more than piracy in my mind. I like Johnny Depp as much as the next guy. Pirates are cool and all, but these kind of pirates, I have no respect for. These people need to be gone after in any legal means necessary to get rid of them off the internet. You know, this TechnoAxe person has done thousands and thousands of hours of royalty-free music and gives them to the internet YouTube content creator population. God, I'm at a loss for words. But yeah, I just hate piracy, man. It's ridiculous and repugnant. And, you know, the best thing that people can do is just go over to TechnoAxe's YouTube channel and hook the guy up, you know, smash that link on his, God, I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I'm having a seizure. Smash the link on his GoFundMe. Yeah, today's not a good day for mine.
No, he doesn't have a GoFundMe, but he does have like a PayPal donation stuff. He has an actual iTunes store stuff where you can purchase the albums of the music and have it downloaded for that kind of stuff. He has different kinds of things, and he has hundreds of songs out there. He's done remixes and stuff like that, a variety of music. And as is, I love giving him a shout out. And part of the policy that he's got set up, if you use his videos for your live stream or for a YouTube video, you got to give him proper attribution. That's his general rule of thumb. And he prides himself on that, and I give him credit for that.
Yeah, it's very important if you're going to use anyone's work to properly attribute. You know, you have to get down there and you have to set a link to the person's original work. It's very important.
Yeah. But I just wanted to get that out there, so if any of you guys end up using some Techno Axe in the near future or anything like that, be aware that some of his songs are being gleaned by this company. And this is nothing new. I mean, other companies like, what was it, Orchard Music, who are just about as seedy as these other people are, do similar kinds of stuff. And this can happen to anybody that's, even if they got a legitimately purchased license for music for their stuff, this kind of stuff does happen. And so then you got to say, no, I have purchased or license rights to use this and all that, yada, yada, yada. So.
Wait. There he is. I found me. Okay.
You found you? What do you mean you found me?
I found me. I just got in my groove. I just thought of something really horrible to say. I have more respect for a flea attached to the underside, to the underscrote of a dog, than I do these horrible rapists online. That's all you are, is a thief, a rapist, and a pirate. When you go online and you parasitically just steal stuff from people and then try to profit from it, you're scum.
Yeah. But anyway, let us go ahead to move with the more heated topic of what just recently happened the other day. And actually, let's bring up the start here. Many people are aware of the YouTube shooter that went and shut up the balcony area of the YouTube headquarters there. This is quite interesting. And according to the CNN article, the woman who opened fire at YouTube headquarters Tuesday practiced shooting at their gun range before the hours before the attack. She took her 9mm Smith & Wesson handgun to the Silicon Valley campus and shot 3 people. Apparently, she apparently didn't know. This is all because I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name, but you guys can see it right there. Was upset with YouTube practices and policies. We know she was upset with YouTube. And we determined that the motive was was the motive. Barnaby said, Barney, dang, I'm off my game today. Agnew shot and wounded 3 people before killing herself. 2 victims have been released from the hospital. 1 remains in serious condition. Barney said the shooter did not have a link to the 3 people who shot. Police are investigating a website that appears to show the same woman accusing YouTube of restricting her videos. CNN is working to confirm the authenticity of the website, which lists 4 YouTube channels, 1 in Farsi, 1 in Turkish, 1 in English, and 1 devoted to hand art. And also an Instagram page that focuses on vegan life. The woman's grievances against YouTube appear to focus on censorship and revenue. In quotations, there is no equal growth opportunity on YouTube or any other video sharing site. Your channel will grow if they want it to. One post reads, YouTube filtered my channels to keep them from getting views. Another post accuses close-minded YouTube employees of putting an age restriction on videos, saying it aimed at reducing views and discouraging the women from making new videos. And then it moves on to talking about the shooting itself. Luckily for us, we got an archive view of the site here. I actually looked at it the other day. And, where was it? Right here is where she has her beware of dictator thing. And, dang it. Uh-oh. Did the browser lock up? Okay, no, the browser's acting up. But, okay, here it is. Here's the part where she's going off about the age-restricted and views and all that stuff. So, what do you got to say on this one, Mike?
Well, you know, Bunny, I do not condone violence under any circumstances other than self-defense. If someone comes into my home, if someone's threatening the life of someone that I love or someone that I care about, I'm going to kill them. But under any other circumstances, I shy away from violence as much as possible. Now, on the flip side of that, YouTube has blanket used AI and algorithms to demonetize, harass, destroy, tear apart people's lives. People put years and years of their lives into YouTube. Now everybody on the right is feeling the burn of YouTube's focus. You know, they're going after all these YouTube channels that are about, you know, gun safety, and they're having to post their videos on Pornhub because YouTube won't host a gun safety thing. Or, you know, cop watching, anti-authoritarian, anti-police state videos are getting targeted. Political content, regardless of where it lays on the political left-right thing, are getting destroyed. And YouTube has basically given these big corporations that they're in bed with, which is Google, you know, Google has given their corporate buddies a smorgasbord, a wish list of a way to attack alternative media. And this woman's sentiment and feelings is probably shared by millions and millions of other users. We're just not willing to do violence for, you know, for revenge, you know. So I understand her animus. Like, many people have had their lives, countless, have had their lives adversely affected by YouTube. And I feel her pain, but I do not justify the violence that she did.
Yeah. And as is the, with the incident, she definitely, I mean, a lot of people are saying she had a few screws loose and all that stuff with the kinds of content that she was covering. But nonetheless, a lot of people have felt the burn with demonetization and other issues with YouTube. We saw this with the adpocalypse kind of stuff, and as is with cop watching and First Amendment testing, we're on the forefront of an area where we're always at a constant risk of being removed and taken down or having our videos demonetized. In fact, I deal with demonetization all the time with strategic noncompliance. I also deal with it with some videos where there's nothing really wrong at all with what's going on, but it's yet demonetized, and I have to go and deal with this kind of issue. And this demonetization stuff has been going on for years. WeAreChange.org, who has a very successful YouTube channel, has been dealing with demonetization for years. And this has been going back since like 2013, 2012 kind of thing, where it's like, oh, we don't like the content you're producing, so we're gonna remove the video, remove the monetization, but not notify you about that. Us being notified about that just came about recently. Thank goodness on that part. But still, I mean, people are being heard about this. And then with the YouTube algorithms, that has been going on for years. Well, that entire change-up has been going on for years. And so, what's even more interesting is when they rolled out the new algorithms last year after the PewDiePie incident with which led to the the adpocalypse there. That the algorithm was incomplete, and even then, it's still incomplete to this day. And we're seeing the effects where, in the within this last 2 months with the whole shooting stuff.
Let
yeah, go
Mikey
ahead.
jump in there for a second, there, Bunny.
Okay.
The PewDiePie incident was all part of the reason why YouTube shored up their algorithms for the ad apocalypse. But the other part was, I would refer people to the Wall Street Journal ad, to where their YouTube screwed up. They allowed their own AI that serves the ads to be automated to the point to where they effed up and allowed ads to be running beside ISIS videos and people being beheaded and Islamic fundamentalists throwing homosexual people off roofs. They would strap gay people to chairs, these Islamic fundamentalists would, and they would shove them off a roof in the window and videotape it. And YouTube effed up and allowed ads to run beside that stuff, and that's one of the reasons why so many advertisers dumped them. I just wanted to add that this is all because of YouTube's mistakes, and their solution was to go after their content creators. And that's another sense of anger that you know, hundreds of thousands of YouTube's content creators, if not millions, are feeling.
Yeah, and the thing is the entire system is built, well, the entire YouTube ecosystem is built upon the aspect of generating as much revenue as possible for as cheaply as possible. And it's expensive to employ a person to review a video. And a person can only review the video as fast as they can watch it. Whereas a computer algorithm can sit there and review a video in a matter of seconds just because of audio data, looking for a comparison of spoken words and stuff like that. Which even then, with the best speech recognition programs out there, there's still a lot of problems. I mean, just look at how many times if you do your speech to text on a cell phone application, how often that messes up when you speak into it, or when you talk to an Alexa or an Echo or any of those other support devices. And so there's tons of flaws, and so there's a huge area for mess up, which affects the rest of all kinds of stuff.
Sure,
and it doesn't take context into consideration. Go ahead, Mike.
A good way to simplify what you're saying is that for the listeners, the program that allows closed captioning just looks at the audio. Now, there's a lot of times when words can be combined together in a way that would allow people to think, or allow an algorithm or an AI to think that someone may just cussed. And I'll give an example. You know, someone could say as assimilation, you know, in a sentence talking about some scientific method or something. Now, that sounds almost like ass immolation, you know, like a burning ass or as assimilation. Like, and AIs mess up a lot of times when they're, and these closed captioning programs mess up a lot of times when they're having to deal with a whole lot of words. Because think about all the different dialects and all the different languages, and that's a problem. This woman spoke multiple languages, and I'm sure a lot of her stuff was probably demonetized and flagged because of misunderstandings, things being lost in translation. And it's very sad that this was the outcome, that she ended up going to YouTube and shooting up the place. But on the flip side of this, whenever there's these mass shootings happening, a lot of people blame everything else other than the person. They blame mental illness. They blame the fact that people can have access to guns in the first place. They blame bullying. You know, I think that removes agency from people, and ultimately she is responsible for this. She is the person that did this violent, horrible act, and she is the one that bared the consequences. She ended up, you know, putting herself in a situation to where she had to shoot herself, you know. And I think people need to turn the focus on to these individuals, and, you know, more blame should be cast on the person committing the act than the tools they used or their past or any of these other factors. Not enough emphasis is placed on the actual individuals committing the acts in the first place, and I find that just kind of crazy if you think about it.
And Jerry Mitchell actually in my chat had a good comment here. Hell, people can't even tell sarcasm in chat. You think a computer will get it straight? Lol. And that is very true. I mean, when there's miscommunications between people just with a text chat, how well do you think a computer that is taught by humans to try to do a certain task, a very difficult task, is when it's taught by something that is not perfect themselves on that specific issue? And that's part of the reason why I go back to the whole I mean, it doesn't take context into consideration. It just looks for speech. Like if you sit there and use curse words and all that stuff, well, it says, oh, there's curse words in here, so I might have to do an age restriction on this. Or it might hear certain words or sayings, and it'll cause further restrictions. And this is not entirely directly on YouTube either. There's other social media platforms that use similar kinds of AI algorithms to do similar kinds of censorship. Facebook's got similar kinds of stuff going on, except they usually have a little bit more human people involved in that aspect. And I wouldn't be surprised if Twitch has got stuff going on. And while the other platforms I do use, like Mixer, Periscope, and StreamMe, probably don't have anything as grandiose of this stuff, they do Well, if they ever do get to a decent amount of size of a user base, they will probably institute these kinds of algorithms to push, well, to do this kinds of censorship on their platforms and all that stuff. And let's see here. What did you pay to upload the content on their server? Okay, I'm not sure if that was directed at me.
Yeah, Bunny.
Yeah?
Got to say something real quick. Speaking of AIs and algorithms, I've embedded this live stream in my Steemit blog over at steemit.com, and there's an AI, a program, a robot in there called Cheetah. And what Cheetah does is it looks for content that you've plagiarized. So I just got an email from a robot that I've, you know, that from this live stream that says, "Hi, I'm a robot. I just upvoted you. Readers might be interested in similar content." Now, Cheetah's fans, Cheetah has real people that follow that AI, and when enough stuff gets flagged as being possibly plagiarism, they start downvoting your content, and you lose money on your content on Steemit. So I'm at risk if these humans don't realize that, you know, it's actually my content, of losing money right here. So it's a great example of what we're talking about happening in real time.
Yeah, and the thing is these kinds of risks are always out there. Even if, let's say, we decided to close up shop, we shut down our YouTube channels, we live stream to our website. We store our videos on a website where you can watch and all that stuff. Well, the thing is, that can still be shut down just by, I mean, if someone really pushes it hard with a few court orders and files, "Oh, you're stealing my content, blah, blah, blah," kind of thing. Or, "We don't like it." We've seen in the past where censorship has taken its form in corporations. A good example is actually Cloudflare, which is a giant, like a protection network used to protect against internet hacking, of where they essentially flood your connection, preventing the servers to properly respond with a bunch of request messages saying, "Hey, yo, connect to me, kind of thing." And so what happens is they end up saying, "Guess what? We don't like," what was it, the Daily Stormer, that was the racist website that everybody talks about in the news?
Daily Stormer is one of the biggest clearinghouses for racist shitbags.
Okay,
yes.
There we go. Yeah, well, the Cloudflare sat there and said, "We don't like you. We're going to go ahead and we're going to discontinue our services," and pulled some weird shenanigans with that stuff. Well, what's quite interesting is that has caused a huge issue with safe harbor protections. And so now Cloudflare has possibly opened up the whole legal avenue of the safe harbor protections no longer applying to them because they went and shut down. And with this whole unintended consequence that's going on, we could possibly see this applied to YouTube too, with the way they scan everybody's videos and all that stuff, because safe harbor protections goes, if you don't know what if most of your content is being user-based generated, and they produce content that is illegal or has some sort of issue, you get some protection, but you got to take it down as soon as humanly possible. Well, guess what? If you're able to scan all this stuff with it when it's being uploaded, or right directly after it's being uploaded, does your safe harbor protection still apply at that point? And that's something that the courts are going to be starting to look at in the next 3 years. Without a doubt. It's already happening with Cloudflare when they're being addressed on certain issues. So, yeah, go ahead.
What a lot of this has to do with is that various corporations that host internet content have, you know, they have their own internal politics. They have their bean counters and their market research firms that they hire looking at certain demographics, and they're trying to appeal to those demographics. And they're reflecting their own brand of censorship because, well, legally censorship is when government does it. It's just destruction of free speech, or there's got to be some other term for when corporations do it. But since everybody understands censorship as meaning the quelling of free speech, then that's the term we use. But anywho, these corporations like Google and all the others are starting to appeal to these millennials and these 20-something folks that are very super politically correct, and they're trying to appeal and trying to maintain them as an audience and capitulate to their desires, to the detriment of free speech, to the detriment of, you know, all these other folks that are producing stuff that maybe these people don't want to hear. And there's the danger. This is like, we're evolving culturally as far as the way media is being produced and digested into a combination of Brave New World and like 1984, those two literary works. And I find it disgusting. That's one of the reasons why I'm so coarse, why I use so many expletives. One of the reasons why I'm so politically incorrect is because these people, quite frankly, make me sick to my stomach. Okay. They're always screaming on about hate speech and how we need to get rid of it. And we, you know, they're lumping everyone into this grand, you know, utopia of social justice warriors where nothing is said that would trample on anybody's tender little feels. And personally, these people can go fuck themselves. They're all a bunch of cunts. You know, they have no life experience. They live in mommy's basement, or they're in college. You know, they've been pampered, and they've not experienced being told no enough. You know, no, I won't bend over for your stupid little PC rules. That's one of the reasons why my two favorite YouTube channels for entertainment are Sargon of Akkad and Undoomed. I highly recommend everybody go to Sargon of Akkad and Undoomed's YouTube channel and check out their content. These people, you know, put their boot up the ass of these social justice warriors on a daily basis, and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It brings a tear to my eye. It's so funny.
And the thing is yeah, this is essentially just a corporate version of like 1984, where they sit there and you have control of the media, and if that specific, you have these monopolies, huge social media monopolies, duopolies, and stuff like that, that have so much power or control because there's so many people that use that service, that if they don't like something, they can bury it to some extent on their platform. Let's take, for instance, with YouTube, with the recently with the whole shooting stuff. Well, guess what? There's many different YouTube channels that have been screwed over and chased off of YouTube because YouTube said, we don't like this specific kind of content talking about this specific subject, mainly firearms, or how to use firearms, how to clean firearms, how to manufacture firearms. Guess what? All those kinds of videos are now sort of pretty much banned. And so many gun and weapons people that talk about weapons either in an educational kind of thing, an edutainment kind of thing, or they're demonstrating safety issues, proper ways of doing stuff. Well, guess what? Now they're being forced off the YouTube platform. They're having to go to other places like Pornhub. And I can't remember the name of the one YouTube channel that's already started doing that, and many have followed in their suit. And I could see the potential for me having to use Pornhub as a potential backup. Just because, guess what? Pornhub, despite being adult and for porn, will allow that kind of content to be uploaded on their platform.
Personally, I prefer RedTube, you know, and like, yeah, you know, for all your fappy needs, I would recommend, you know, running over the RedTube. It's better than Pornhub. But yeah, I think it's really funny and ironic that these people on the right, these right-wing people whose political ideology isn't in line with the target demographics that YouTube wants to appeal to, have to resort to posting their stuff where things are considered illicit or smut, or things are considered risky. That's precisely what YouTube was saying to them. Your stuff is illicit and it's risque, so, you know, their only other option was to post on a porn website. I think that's really kind of funny if you think about it.
Oh, what makes it even more worse, though, with YouTube is how hypocritical they are. Because the average content creator that is on YouTube is no longer allowed to do this. But if your mainstream corporation, media corporation like CBS, NBC, CNN, and stuff like that, and you want to talk about it or do a little news skip thing and throw it up on YouTube, they're allowed to do it, and they're allowed to monetize it. And even with, say, the Young Turks, one of the larger YouTube content creators, they managed to get in where they can go ahead and do the same thing. And because they got in that good old buddy network that's in the higher ups. But the average beyond those people, the average YouTube content creator wants to talk about maybe the YouTube shooting, or they want to talk about something controversial. They want to talk about something that's edgy or whatever. Well, chances are their video is going to be demonetized because it doesn't fit within the corporate political values that has been etched itself within YouTube and Google itself, and the enforcement rankings of the moderation and rule setting.
Sure. And I just want to, you know, jump back in, Bunny, for a second. Here's another thing. People on the extreme left and a lot of these, you know, SJW cultural types, what they don't understand, they're always screaming about hate speech. If you Google hate speech and Supreme Court decisions, they think that hate speech is the worst thing in the whole world. Well, guess what? The Supreme Court has upheld that hate speech is constitutionally protected. People have a right to do that in our society. And the reason why is because if we don't allow neo-Nazis to say their stupid racist garbage, which it is, it's morally repugnant and it's laughable. I think the best way to crush racism is to point and laugh. What do you mean? Black people are inferior to you? Really? Then you must not pay attention to sports statistics. What do you mean? You know, white people are the most intelligent. You might want to look at IQ in relation to, you know, what race stack up, because Asian people, you know, score a few higher standard definition or variations than everybody else on average, and just point and laugh at the stupid crap that comes out of their mouth. All you do by shutting down speech is you shut down speech, you know? So hate speech is something that should be protected. And I'll just go ahead and say it out loud. You guys can put a target on my back if you want. But the reason why hate speech should be protected is for the simple fact that what these people are saying today is out of fashion. What you're saying tomorrow might be out of fashion, and then what you're saying might be considered hate speech. Where do these people's line in the sand change? It always changes to another form of speech. If you give these people an inch, they're going to take an infinity amount of space. And it's time that people stand up and say enough. You know, do I hate racism? Sure. Do I consider myself someone who is anti-fascist? Yes. My grandfather Dudley was a turret gunner in World War II. He fought in the Pacific Island campaigns. He was held as a hostage by the imperial government of Japan and tortured by Japanese. You know, he actually got to shoot real fascists. You know, I'm jealous of my grandpa Dudley, but am I willing to shut down people's free speech? Oh, hell no, because I understand culturally what that means. That means that we don't value free speech. In the moment that people aren't allowed to express themselves, you're living in a dystopian hell.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's a reason why my channel mainly, well, when you look at my YouTube channel or any other kind of thing where I have public commenting going on, it's generally go ahead and post with, as long as it's legal and stays within the terms of service of that specific platform. And I mean, as is, I have people that come on and diss me all the time, and I'll go back and banter with them or ignore them, one of those two things. But nonetheless, I generally allow that stuff to stay up unless they're pulling some sort of underhanded shenanigans, in which case then they end up getting a nice little banhammer. But as is, I allow for open discourse within my thing. I allow for the criticism, because I need that I need that negative criticism in order to be an effective judge of how well I'm doing my content and all that stuff. I will defend it, or of course enact, or maybe take it into consideration. There's many reasons why I allow that, and while others have their ways of managing their channels and stuff like that, that is just the way how I do things, and in a way it has worked very well over the years. Especially it's showing itself on my Saturday night, well, my weekend bar hopping stuff. Streams are fairly chill. I have very little issues with people hopping in. Yeah, I get the occasional troll here and there, but who doesn't? That's just the fact of life. And when it comes to trolls, some of the best effective ways to deal with them is to straight up ignore them, and they'll eventually go away. You just got to maybe deal with their little antics here and there or whatever, or you might have to give them a quick timeout or whatever. But guess what? If you can't troll, why the hell be there? You're not getting a reaction kind of thing. And that's one of the big problems that these people within the corporations and stuff like that. Allow these people to talk about these things at least. You don't need to sit there and completely ban them off your platform. And while, let's say they might not be monetizable, at least allow them. But as is with YouTube, they're outright banning like the talks about the gun issues and stuff like certain issues on that spot, or certain issues about hate speech. And then they go and, which is a big, huge hindrance. Some of the best live stream conversations I have listened to involved people arguing about some of the edgiest stuff. Like, what was it? I'm trying to remember it was like, racial not equality, dang it, Mike, you're more, you remember more about the whole, like, fighting, some of the white supremacists and all that stuff back in the heyday. What was some of the craps they, spout out about, racial purity or something like that? No, it wasn't purity, or genetic superiority shit.
Sure. I mean, if you're actually interested in the rhetoric of these sub-morons, you can check out the Daily Stormer, or you can check out the homepage of the National Socialist Movement. These are, you know, there was a guy years ago who started something called War White Aryan Resistance. His name was Tom Metzger, and basically it was a bunch of garbage about racial purity and how you know, white people would become a minority in America, and basically they wanted to take over the Midwest, Missouri and Idaho, and a lot of these racist scumbags actually did move out to Idaho, like a town called Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and they started a bunch of crap. But right now, the real, like, the only real racist groups in America that are actually dangerous are people like the Aryan Brotherhood. You know, they're mostly a prison gang. They're a bunch of people that go through prison as a rite of passage. And these scumbags, they call themselves Peckerwoods or whatever. But the best, you know, their rhetoric is basically, you know, white people are becoming an endangered species, and that they need to breed only with themselves, and that they need to protect themselves because their race is becoming a minority and they'll be bred out of existence. And, you know, that's the nature of humanity. You know, like, we're all going to interbreed, you know, and from what I understand about genetics, when you have mixed racial babies, they tend to have more dominant phenotypes express themselves. Basically, you get stronger children, not weaker children, immune system wise, you know, IQ and all these other factors. There's dozens of factors that has been proven that if you have multi-race babies, that you produce stronger children as opposed to weaker children. It has aspects of eugenics within it, you know, where they want to control who mates with who. But here's one for you too. There's actually been studies to suggest that racism, to people that express racist ideologies, actually have lower IQs. There's actual studies that actually show this, and I find that interesting, you know. But yeah,
well, the thing is the point I want to get across is those debates have been either some of the most entertaining, cringiest shit shows I've ever listened to, or have been very insightful because of the people that are involved in those debates and the back and forth. And what was it? Sargon Akkad, V, and I'm trying to remember the other person that was involved in that stuff, have been doing really, I mean, well, not winning everything outright on the debates and arguments and stuff like that, have been standing up there and getting involved in these things. They've been throwing themselves into that discussion debate. And the funny part is when you look at the people that are pushing this censorship of stuff all the time, they're nowhere to be found. They're always criticizing, oh, well, you should get this person on, or you don't have the right people on to discuss this issue. Well, where the hell are your people to stand, to hop into that arena? Why are your people not hopping in and debating your issues or the reason why this kind of your policies should be enacted? That's the issue. I will hop in there and debate people and argue with them, like what I did over on the Morning Kumite with Ichabod Orange and Bill Clinton, Jerry Dude. I will sit there and hop in, partially because I enjoy that kind of stuff, and partially also to stick up and spread the word about the issue. But I like that. I have no problem. I will debate a lot of people. I've had my other little drama things that I wouldn't cause and all that stuff, just so I can have an argument or debate with people. I enjoy it.
You know, I think healthy debate and argument and trolling and cussing each other out and talking shit is beautiful. I think it needs to be done. There needs to be more of it put in a place to where it can be monetized. But
yeah.
Here's another idea for you, Bunny. And I was talking to my good friend Claire Burnish. She's a brilliant writer, one of the smartest people I've met. She's actually one of my intellectual crushes. I would like to remove her brain and make sweet love to it. But, you know, aside from me gushing over Claire, she wrote for the Anti-Media. She's written for the Free Thought Project. She runs something called Subversive Pen. And I was talking to her about internet censorship and everything the other day on the phone when I was asking her if she would like to be a guest on our show. And I bring up to Claire that if you look at Google, just Google itself and its properties like YouTube, and you look at the government subsidies that Google gets, they get so much government money that basically Google and YouTube is the U.S. government by proxy. They have so many hundreds of millions of dollars, and sometimes billions, depending on depending on whose news stories you want to believe at what they're bringing in government subsidies, that there is no real legal difference between Google and YouTube and the U.S. government for that reason. So one could actually argue that since they get so much money from government for their backbone, for their infrastructure, that all the billions of YouTube content creators, because they have more than 1 billion now, I believe, you know, could actually claim themselves as being complainants in a class action lawsuit. The legal gray area between these media corporations and government has shrunk, and it needs to be challenged in the courts. And I would love it if Google v millions of their content creators would just go at it in court, because it needs to happen.
Well, there's already been one lawsuit, unsuccessful, class action lawsuit levied against YouTube, trying to tackle the whole monopoly kind of aspect, but that was dismissed. Leonard Finch, the copyright attorney that's on YouTube and Twitch there, he's actually covered that specific issue a couple of times, but I'm sure there's more than one avenue to pursue that issue. The question is which one's the right way, and which arguments are the proper way to do that. And as with all legal fights, you won't really fully know until you try. The problem is it's very expensive to try. And so only certain groups are going to really try to push it, and it could be either as a Hail Mary last ditch to try to salvage a bad situation, to I have the money to waste, let's go ahead and do this. And I mean, you have a good example of just I have a ton of money to waste, which was the whole Hulk Hogan lawsuit, which was funded by some billionaire guy saying, you know, I want some revenge. Hulk, here's a bunch of money, get that guy because he wronged you so bad and he's wronged me in the past. Now, I can't recall a good situation where it's been a Hail Mary salvage a situation, bad situation and came out on top off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I can probably find one if I put the time and resources to looking for it. But I don't really have that ability at the moment, so.
Could you imagine that GoFundMe, raising money to sue Google
on
behalf of We the People or something like that? Wow.
That would probably, well, back in like when the adpocalypse started, if you had like the processing and all that stuff already started, without a doubt, I'm pretty sure someone throwing up a GoFundMe on that aspect would raise tons of money, or a Kickstarter or whatever. Well, actually, there might be restrictions. I think they've tightened up the legal restrictions, so you'd have to go through a different crowdfunding site that's a little less known. So,
yeah, I think we should segue into how these SJW cunts are ruining movies. I just mentioned the last Star Wars movie, and your thoughts were?
Yeah, how should I put it? Those SJW people, or political correctness people, have taken over the writing teams, and that is the reason why the movies have flopped so poorly and the characters are so poorly written. I mean, the greatest aspect in the last 2 Star Wars movies I watched was the damn robot in the Rogue One. And even then, the Rogue One robot there, dude, is so unmemorable, I didn't even bother to memorize his name. So, it sort of proves a point right there on that aspect. And then how badly the last movie flopped, especially when they tried to push it over in China. People were just like, they walked out of the movie while it was still playing because of how bad it was. And it just makes you think, hey, yo, I mean, yeah, you brought all the sort of the classics of fighting action stuff, but if people are there for a continuation of the storyline, guess what? If you don't give them that aspect of an okay story, no one's going to be interested in continue showing up. And it's starting to hurt the House of Mouse. And the House of Mouse is not going to be too happy about this. This is happening with I think it's the Marvel comic book series is another good example with the Comicsgate, which is sort of a continuation of Gamergate, and how Marvel lost thousands of dollars. Where last year you had you had comic book store owners and managers showing up to conventions and chewing Marvel representatives out because they're holding a bunch of products that won't sell, taking up store shelving and all that stuff. And it's like, we can't sell these things. What the hell are you doing to the comic book stuff? Thank goodness video games you can't do that. Go ahead, Mike. You need to hop in.
Yeah, it's like these SJW, social justice warrior, like language police, want us to live on planet lame. You know, where a scientist can't wear a t-shirt with pretty girls on it, no matter how brilliant they are. Where, you know, Joss Whedon, the guy that wrote Firefly, and in Firefly, it had openly gay characters that were written realistically. It was one of the best pieces of sci-fi in the last 100 years, in my humble opinion. Firefly was awesome. Okay, he said some stuff on Twitter that these SJWs didn't like, so they crucified him. So a man who spends his life developing openly gay characters and pushing them into the mainstream gets crucified because he said a couple things on Twitter they don't like, just destroying him. Gamergate, okay. Oh, there's too many pretty girls, cisgendered, heterosexual girls in video games, so we have to go to war with, you know, all these men because, you know, the majority of men want to fantasize about women. I mean, what? Like, what? They really want us to live in this bland little world where we're all kind of, you know, walking around in bland white clothes with loincloths, you know, worrying and fretting over exactly what word or pronoun we use. And there's something now called microaggressions. This is great, where they can throw a fit because they don't like the expression on your face, or they can throw a fit and freak out and be offended because they don't like your body language. Like, pretty soon, you know, you're not going to be able to make eye contact, or that will be considered uncouth, and that, you know, you're trampling on their tender little feels.
Oh, well, you want to know a funny thing? Have you ever noticed every now and then cops try to accuse the activists that are doing the cop watching or First Amendment testing and auditing that they're social special snowflakes, they're social justice warriors and shit like that?
Yeah, a lot of cops. Yeah, I totally see that because I consume a lot of the media that I produce, like everybody else's stuff I'm looking at. And a lot of cops are on the right. I mean, if you look at the demographics, most cops are white, most cops are male, most cops vote right. So they have this assumption that obviously you're some sort of tender little SJW on the left. When, you know, I'm an anarchist, I don't care about either side, and, you know, fuck politically correct speech. You know, Cunt is one of my favorite words, and I'm never giving up that word. It's such a beautiful word. It sounds so lovely. It's one syllable. You can say so much with so little. Cunt. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
anywho,
go ahead.
Yeah, they definitely try to say, "Oh, you're a tender little snowflake," or like that's gonna offend us. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is yeah, Eggman Eggs. Yes, Firefly was pretty good. I haven't seen it. I've only seen the one episode. I've seen the movie Serenity, so Serenity was pretty good. But moving on that aspect, the funny thing is that I could see if the First Amendment auditing, testing, and cop watching thing grows big enough, it becomes a big, huge power play, powerful enough because there's so many people in it. There's so many people watching, so many eyes on it. They may attempt to try to. Now. Yeah, oh yeah, it's blowing up right now. You'll start seeing them try to push to infiltrate it. But the problem is that one of the reasons why it'll be resistant to it is because of how much people want to see they want to see people go through the steps. A lot of the activists won't trust another person that hasn't done a video themselves, because it's a high risk kind of thing. And we want to see at least some people to take the risk out there and put their foot in the arena and do a video. Or to at least go and film a police interaction and upload and say, yeah, okay, you're done. Okay, so you're good. Because there's the paranoia and constant issue and legitimate paranoia of the issue of infiltration from government sources that will pop in and try to cause problems. Well, guess what? A lot of SJWs are not about the work. They want to. They don't want to create their own work. They want to take over someone's existing work and and then change it to how they feel it should be. When in reality, if they really wanted to get their narrative out there, they need to create their own work and make a good job of it. And a good example would be like that Steven Universe cartoon. Really good job on how it's presented and done, in my opinion. And it's very SJW-ish in its politics, but it's well done. It's a good example of them actually doing the right thing. But often, they're doing the wrong thing, in my opinion. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, everybody deserves their own... the ability to, participate in the free marketplace of ideas. We shouldn't be trying to destroy each other's ability to speak. I don't agree with a lot of stuff that a lot of people on the extreme left or the extreme right, for that matter, have to say. But I'm willing to literally bleed over your right to do it, and I have. I've been attacked at protest. I've been shot with less lethal. I've been pepper sprayed. I've been tear gassed. I've been kicked, spit on over free speech. I've been thrown on the ground by cops. I have bulging disc in my spine. And all of this was me out in the world bleeding for people's right to say what they have to say. And I'm not alone. There are millions of other people just like me that don't have a YouTube channel,
Yeah, and the thing is there's people that can't get involved. I understand. They got whatever XYZ reason, but they support their favorite people, whether it be me, Mike, News Now Houston, News Now Patrick, that kind of stuff. If they like someone, they'll support them in what ways they can. And that aspect, and that creates those juggernaut powerhouses and stuff like that within the various communities. Now, as is, I mean, while I may not have an audience, I do have my influence and impact within the community just because of my time I've been here and my experience and knowledge on the stuff that I do and put out, that I help out people with, whether it be tech, legal issues, or looking up case laws and stuff like that. But that I put myself through the experience of a lot of stuff. And that's why some people, go ahead and look at me, oh, cool, can you help me with this and all that stuff. And I'll help them if I got the time and got the mental capacity to be able to handle that if I have an answer for that. But as is, I try to lead by example. If I had the capability of passing the physical and all that stuff, I probably would sign up to be a cop just to work that angle for a while to get that experience in. So this way I can at least have a better understanding, and then also have the experience to say, yes, I've done this for XYZ amount of time. I can specifically talk from this angle. or I can understand exactly where you're coming from because I experienced the exact same thing. Just like how I talk. Go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, here's the thing. You just reminded me of something that's really fun, Bunny, is that you said that you wouldn't mind going through the whole cop thing because you have mobility issues. You walk with a cane, yes?
Yeah.
Right on. I think I recall seeing you with a cane in one of your videos. But here's the thing. Laura Shark CW and Ida Foxy Queen did a really great April Fool's joke where they did a video pretending to go through the steps of working for LAPD, where they, pretended like they were going to go through all the phases, and they showed, their after their questionnaire, after their polygraph. It was really funny. And then at the end of it, because I had forgotten that it was April Fool's Day, and then at the very end, they're like April Fools. So I thought that was a really great joke that you had these, prominent women that are cop watchers to pretend like they're going through the police academy and then saying April Fools at the last minute. It was just really great.
Yeah, I think I saw the title and I just never watched it. I didn't even think about it. So yeah,
it was an awesome joke.
And Lone Star, I'll give that. I see you're asking about me and Mike Bluehair's tag. I'll give that a little bit later on towards the end of the show. I gotta screw with some Discord settings to pull that back up because right now Discord's in stream mode, and so certain information's hidden until I flip a secondary switch on that. So I'll pull that stuff up for you a little bit later so that way you can have it. But Toxic, I try. As I said, I got the time and all that stuff. I'll help when I can, but otherwise I try to I put out general public information so this way you guys can at least get a general direction of what to go in or get an idea of where you can get a head start on discovering that information yourself. Sort of like what I did with the tutorial for the original Discord app, using it in a web browser, which is pretty much the same thing as using the Discord app, well, the program on a computer, and the Streamlabs tutorial and stuff, or OBS tutorial I did about 3 years ago. I try to at least get the bare basic stuff out there and then allow you the chance to do the self-discovery, the tinkering, and all that stuff to better learn that technology and improve upon yourselves. Because you could discover stuff that I probably have missed over, haven't seen, or even looked at that would help benefit yourself.
Can you hear me, Bunny?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. I was thinking I accidentally turned my mic off for a second. So, can we talk about the little twerp now, the little poster child for disarm everybody, the hog? Can we talk about the hog now? We mentioned that we wanted to talk about
and hog is actually a good segue into the a segue off of this and into the other aspect of censorship, corporate censorship that has been going on. And so let me go ahead and pull this up.
And of course, we're talking about David Hogg, people. The high school student, the quote, end quote, survivor of the Parkland shooting.
Let's see here, and so
Marjorie Douglas Davis high school shooter.
Let me get this pulled up because we're gonna go ahead and listen to something from listen to it off of a Tim Pool video, which he covers this fairly well. And so let me get this up here and go ahead and play this over the okay, yeah, good. Play this over the mic and all that stuff. I figured out a little thing in order to fix the issue where some of you guys are probably hearing double audio when I'm doing this. So I'm gonna, of course, mute my live stream audio, and hopefully I remember to turn it back on that aspect. So I'm gonna hit play and get this started. Oops, hang it. Okay.
Survivor David Hogg was bitter over his rejection for freshman admission by multiple universities. Those companies pulling their ads include TripAdvisor, Expedia, Hulu, Johnson & Johnson, Wayfair, Nestle, and Nutrish. A spokesman for TripAdvisor said the company doesn't condone the inappropriate comments made by this broadcaster. In our view, these statements focus on those who are a bit aggressive online. But before I get into all that, let me give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Ship. A number of 20% off by that's Blink.com for NBC News. Laura Ingraham loses advertisers after criticizing Parkland student David Hogg. David Hogg took on Fox News' Laura Ingraham and succeeded in getting advertisers to jump ship. A number of advertisers have abandoned Fox News host Laura Ingraham's weeknight show after she alleged Parkland, Florida shooting survivor David Hogg was bitter over his rejection for freshman admission by multiple universities. Those companies pulling their ads include TripAdvisor, Expedia, Hulu, Johnson & Johnson, Wayfair, Nestle, and Nutrish. A spokesman for TripAdvisor said the company doesn't condone the inappropriate comments made by this broadcaster. In our view, these statements focused on a high school student crossed the line of decency. The tweet in question from Laura Ingraham said, David Hogg rejected by 4 colleges to which he applied and whines about it. Dinged by UCLA with a 4.1 GPA, totally predictable given acceptance rates. The story from the Daily Wire that Ingraham tweeted reads, gun rights provocateur David Hogg rejected by 4 colleges to which he applied. The Florida high school student, a survivor of the February 14th shooting in Parkland, who recently helped organize the March for Our Lives, said 4 different campuses in the University of California school system have turned him down: UCLA, UC San Diego, UC Santa Barbara, and UC Irvine. If colleges want to support us in that, great. If they don't, it doesn't matter. We're still going to change the world. So let's start with some fresh criticism for Laura Ingraham, but trust me, there is plenty of criticism to go around. I don't really think, at least according to that article, David was really whining about it. I think he actually had a nice, humble statement at the end that if they don't want to support him, it is what it is, and he's going to do his thing. I think that's respectable. However, the response to the mockery, in my opinion, was disproportionate. David Hogg tweeted, pick a number 1 through 12. Contact the company next to that number. Top Laura Ingraham advertisers. And he says, Sleep Number, AT&T, Nutrish, Allstate and Esurance, Bayer, Rocket Mortgage, Liberty Mutual, Arby's, TripAdvisor, Nestle, Hulu, and Wayfair. And as we've already seen from the NBC News article, TripAdvisor, Expedia, Hulu, Johnson & Johnson, Wayfair, Nestle, and Nutrish have pulled out. Look, when you were an adult,
So, we have just seen the weaponization of an audience to do corporate censorship. What do you think about that, Mike?
Wow. Okay, this is the realm of the social justice war. Okay, if they can't petition government to censor people, they're going to go after people in the court of public opinion in a way that's just underhanded and dirty. And yes, he was whining. He was implying, he didn't outright say it, but he was implying that there's some kind of conspiracy against him or something, or that the universities don't want to let him in. And that's absolutely retarded. It's dumb. Okay, David Hogg, you are a repugnant little entitled shitbag. You're just pissed off because all the fame and all the attention that you've gotten by being foisted into the figure or to the forefront of corporate media right now, it's starting to wane, and its doors that are just opening up to happen to usher you into opportunities. See, the thing is that this is why it's ridiculous that there's some sort of major universities not wanting to let you in to hinder your quote-unquote movement, or whatever you want to call it. Your movement is a bowel movement, sir. I'll just say it outright. But here's the thing. Here's what makes that ridiculous, Mr. Hall. The universities, especially in California, are overwhelmingly left-wing. I mean, Berkeley didn't let you in. They have, by any means necessary, a radical anti-fascist left-wing group that some of their professors are actually members of. If you can't get in a radical left university, it's because your grades suck. You know, that's what it is. Okay, your grades suck, kid. Okay, and sorry you can't handle being criticized, but whatever. You know, this is weaponized equity. You know, there's so much wrong with the psychology of the social justice warrior. I could go for months, but I'll just give one example of why it's morally inconsistent. Here's the thing, people. You saying that when one black person speaks, that they speak for every black person that was ever shipped off the Horn of Africa and everybody that was ever oppressed, it's a black person. You know, that's just stupid, okay? That removes agency. See, each individual human being has a multitude of different life experiences, and they represent that and nothing more. So, and furthermore, every woman that speaks, you know, that woman might be, you know, mentally ill and have, you know, daddy issues, so people shouldn't listen to her. She doesn't represent all of womankind. That removes agency and personal responsibility from an individual human being, and that is why your entire way of thinking is morally and ethically bankrupt.
Yeah, and the thing is the further add to the fun little mix here is, while I am not wholly against that kind of of that aspect of weaponizing an audience and stuff like that, when you use a tool like that, you are opening yourself up to have that tool used against you. And what he did is he weaponized his audience to go on the attack to shut down the monetary flow to another person. Well, what's to say that can't happen to him? And that's why the saying, why I say, live by the sword, die by the sword. And many of the tools that, like, let's say silent treatment, stuff like that, is a double-edged sword. There's many tools within our own toolbox that can be used against us too, in some aspect. And you have to be careful and wise about how that tool is used, whether it is used in an offensive or defensive manner. And so, okay, yeah, you went and demonetized, well, essentially demonetized another person because you didn't like their speech. Well, guess what? The same thing can easily happen to Hogg and all his support that he's got coming into him. Watch him mess up at some point, and then he's left out to hang and dry by himself because everybody stepped away because he misspoke at some point.
Well, those people have a long history of cannibalizing each other. Right now, the left is eating itself by, you know, see, the problem is, and it's irrespective of left or right political leanings. Human psychology works like this. The person that's the loudest, the person that screams the loudest, this person that says the most extreme crap, people tend to start to look and view them as almost an authority figure. And what this does is it polarizes the popular discourse into the extreme left and right, to where you only have the Alex Joneses on one end and the you know, the Yvette Falarkas on the other. You know, and us moderate thinking people that see that there's something to be valued in both the left and the right's perspective get drowned out by these people that are being the most loud, the most irritating, the most annoying and obnoxious and repugnant. And that's a problem. We no longer live in a society that respects intellect, values logic and reason. Instead, it's the person that has the most charisma, and a lot of times that has to do with how pretty you are and how loud and obnoxious you are, and that's just dumb. We're headed into Planet Dumb, or Idiocracy. That movie is actually starting to look more and more like a documentary and less like a piece of comedy.
You know, I need to sit down and watch that movie again. It's been a while. That was so funny. But yeah, the thing is the way it works though is. Well, how should I put it? After watching this nice little video tutorial about how to improve yourself, your views, and all that stuff, one of the ways to get attention is to create emotion with the content you're creating. So this way people are wanting to share it, and it sticks longer in the memory, and they want to return for whatever aspect, whether it be rage-inducing, the it's cute kind of aspect, or a fear. Because as with like the news headlines, if it leads, it bleeds. I mean, if it bleeds, it leads. Sorry, I got that flipped around. But the thing is, with all that,
so Bunny, are you saying that we should put women in charge?
Well, actually, well, how should I put it? I don't mind watching ladies do stuff. Okay, I mean, they have the. I'm trying to put this in the right words. There's a reason why Siri has a woman's voice, because, you know, it's sultry. You know, I personally gave my Siri a British accent because I think it's sexier. Yeah, I don't use any of that kind of stuff outside of what my roommates got with the Alexa kind of thing, and I just use that on like rare moments when I'm like, I want to know what the weather's at. But anyway, going back to my original statement, women have an advantage in the entertainment industry. While they may not end up as big as some of the guys, in general, if they get started in it, and they pull the right stuff, they're going to have a higher viewership and attention from an audience than a guy is. A guy is going to be more on the extremes of they're not going to get anything, or they're going to be really big, like, let's say, PewDiePie, or on the Twitch side, you'd have Tyler One and Dr. Disrespect and stuff like that, because they got that extra little charisma kind of thing. They got that power charisma, which gives them a little bit more of an edge. While women, it's sort of weird how that all works out. But I mean, naturally, if you are able to get that attention, yeah, even myself will end up watching. Michelle Lucas, women have an advantage only under 35. I don't know. I will actually listen to a lady that is over 35 talk about a certain subject matter, more likely, just to give you a heads up. So I don't really discriminate too much in that department when it comes to entertainment-wise.
Bunny, a quick
go ahead.
Question. Why is there a freeze frame of Tim Pool with blower's cramp on the screen? Are we going to be seeing Tim Pool talk in a minute?
No, I just leaving it up so people know where we're at conversation-wise.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but I will be taking it down. Oh, you know what's funny? Just where I paused it, the look on his face is sort of funny.
I know, it looks like he's got blower's cramp.
But, let's see. Oh, yeah, but...
Lockjaw!
Yeah, but, I mean, the thing is just... It's the way the current society works. Now, will it change? Who knows? But I'm just stating that the aspect of where we're at right now. And let's say if you get involved with, like, this cop watching or First Amendment activism, if you're a lady that gets involved, I guarantee you're going to get a lot more attention than a guy is. Unless maybe unless you're like comparing where you don't get arrested but a guy gets arrested kind of thing, you're going to have those kinds of comparisons. But in general...
I agree if the content is decent. If it's just terrible, I don't think guys would respond to it. But if they're trying and they have to... It has to be decent content, but I agree with you that they have a distinct advantage because of that demographic and how it's mostly men.
Yeah, it's just how it works. And, I mean, this is not just, I mean, in that aspect, too. It's other various entertainment aspects that cover whether it's adult or just regular entertainment. They do have that advantage to get that leg in many aspects where a guy does not have that advantage. They actually have to fight a lot harder in that aspect. But continuing on, because I think I probably killed that. Did I work us into a dead end on that little small rant?
No, I think you're doing fine, man. No, we're always kind of going on tangents, but so far the audience has responded favorably to what we're doing. So, you know, if you guys want us to bring other guests in or talk to other people, feel free to hit us up through the live chat and, you know, let us know who you'd like to see as a guest, and I'll try to get them on.
Oh. Okay, well, okay, we were the whole face. Well, I found a better one. I found High Tim, the 420 High Tim Pool face.
Oh, really?
Yeah, give it a minute there to pop up there. But, yeah, actually what's funny is with his audience, there's always people commenting about how he looks high or something like that, where a few people made little parody accounts just to make fun of that aspect.
They're just jealous.
Tim Pool, here's the thing. What's funny is me and Tim Pool actually started around the same time frame, but he's jumped really high up in the world. I mean, you can tell with his, like, let's see, he's at 161 subscribers. He's put himself out there. He's climbed himself up there in the ranks.
161,000 subscribers, yeah.
Yeah. He's climbed his way up there with sort of, not exactly overly exciting content, but he's a very, like, boring kind of person when it comes to covering the news, but he's very fair in that aspect.
That's Tim's appeal. He's a bona fide. He goes by the old school book of journalistic ethics. Tim reports what he perceives to be as the truth, and he tries to get both sides of his story. And he's like the 21st century version of what Ted Koppel was doing. You know, when news was new. You know, like seriously. he's just an average Joe kind of guy. He's not really super radical, but I respect him for the simple fact that he does go out there and report exactly what he sees. He doesn't color anything or slant anything, and that's his appeal. That's why he has, you know, the huge subscriber base that he has, is because he just goes about it from an objective way, as opposed to an angry, you know, anti-authoritarian, ranty, expletive way that I do it. You know, that's why I have 16,000 subscribers and he has like 100,000.
Well, well, you're still kicking my butt on the whole subscriber thing, but I mean, the thing is I have a more a chill kind of thing, and people have commented this on my live streams that my live streams generally are a lot more chill. I do have my things where I get into it, but otherwise, I'm sort of like Tim Pool in that aspect. The only main reason why I'm not as big or anything like that is just due to the fact I don't create as much content as a lot of other people.
It was that, and there's other succinct advantages Pool has had over his career. And I don't mean to criticize the dude, because I love his work, and I highly recommend people check out his work. But he was on the ground at Zuccotti Park during Occupy Wall Street and just reporting it as it was happening, when that was sexy in the news for about a solid month. That he saved a lot of his money that he got from ad revenue then, and that allowed him to travel. And then Tim flew out to high-profile stories, and that was his leg up in alternative media.
Well, so, and not just that,
he had those advantages.
He was also signed on with Vice and Vice Media or Vice News or something like that. And then there was another company.
That's after he started doing the stuff I was talking about. He got his name and recognition out. That's why Vice picked him up.
Yeah, and so he's worked his way up there through the ranks, through a lot of hard work and effort on his part, and it's paid itself off, especially with the YouTube channel. It's still, I mean, for him, he's got to do the cost and effective role where there's stuff he wants to cover, but he can't constantly cover it because he can only pull in so much revenue from the work he does. And so he's forced to cover stuff that he probably wouldn't really be interested in, but it's still newsworthy wise. And you sort of see this when I cover a comparison with my First Amendment test videos. If there's something happening that gets everybody's attention, or I do a live stream covering an incident that affects, that is a big, huge controversial thing, that is going to be getting the big attention. But my preference when I'm going out there and doing a First Amendment test is to come back and say, I went out there and tested, nothing happened, it's a good report. No one that doesn't get the clicks and views. But that's what I want to see happen. I go out there, they don't know I'm there for a minute, and then I show up, film, nothing happens, I leave. Guess what? That's a good thing. It's a boring video. That's why I say a boring video, boring test video is a good video.
It's the same thing with cop watching. Like, you know, you don't get the ratings unless you're catching the cops doing something wrong. But honestly, what you want is you want to get, you know, examples of the camera keeping the cops calm. You want examples of the show that people mind their P's and Q's when they're being filmed. So it's a catch-22. You know, like, you're not going to make any money unless you catch, you know, I'm speaking in an extreme here, but you're not going to make any money unless you catch Rodney King 2.0. But you view yourself as succeeding when the cops behave themselves when you're filming. Because a lot of times I have put cops on notice, and they do start being more calm and more calculating. And I've had people tell me that the cops started treating me with dignity and let me go, or ended the traffic stop when you showed up. And, you know, they were being really, really rude to me until you started filming. I've had that happen to me dozens of times, and it is a catch-22, because the boring videos is what you want to happen, but the more exciting arrest or police brutality is what unfortunately drives more clicks. So, you know, speaking of that, you know, people need to, like, you know, hook Bunny up with a super chat. You know, Bunny needs to buy a new pair of shoes. He needs to go to Vegas and buy some coke. I mean, and hookers. No, I mean, you know, Bunny's struggling. He doesn't spend money frivolously, and I do. You know, I mean, if you're feeling so inclined, you know, jump up and down on that super chat and hook a brother up or brothers up, because, you know, we do this from the heart. You know, and, you know, you can't eat your own heart. So yeah, hook us up.
Yeah, and I mean, that's part of the reason why, I mean, I turned to with I do the Patreon thing. I charge per video that I do on that aspect. It's like, hey guys, if you want to throw me, a line out there, here, just pay me $1 for each video from you. That's all I'm really asking for. You get actually quite a bit. I throw behind the scenes stuff when I have a chance to upload that stuff. Early access if I have it. I throw that kind of things out, those kinds of things out there as a low reward for those that at least throw $1. And then I do shout outs for those that want to do $10. And I thank the people that, do that aspect, because it's just better that way, because I can't be out there constantly getting video footage and always have a stockpile up. Because as is, First Amendment testing and cop watching can each has their risks within that aspect. I view cop watching as a lower risk than First Amendment testing. Others view it as the other way around. But, as is, I already got 2 cases I'm currently dealing with when it comes to First Amendment testing.
Yeah, it's a difficult call because the cops are more aggressive and less aggressive in different areas. So some places it's safer to do audits, and some places it isn't.
Yeah, especially when it also comes to the cop watching, too. We've seen people that stopped and do cop watching get hemmed up by
Bunny.
cops. Yes?
Charlie Dog, that fella out there in Texas who had that cop aim the pistol at him, wants to know if he can call into the show. He has something important to talk to you about and us about. He has an important announcement and issue that he's going through.
Okay, did he say that on your chat or was that on mine?
Yes, he just said it on my chat.
Okay, well, that's right. Charlie Dog has been having a lot of issues. Let's see if I can get the Hangout up and going here. So,
okay.
And at least you'll be able to hear with a new setup. Give me a sec here. Try to get this up and going so this way he can get in. Because, yeah, let's go ahead and... that's because he was the guy that... just during the test run, it was like a quite the weird discovery.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so...
And you guys remember he's the guy that the cop aimed the pistol at when he was riding his bicycle behind the car. Okay,
Charlie Dog, I'm going to be posting a link. I only want Charlie Dog to click on that. That is a Hangouts link. If you're still using a phone, you need to get Google Hangouts on there and use that link to go ahead and communicate with us. As is, I'll leave that open so that way you can hop in. I still got to... Yeah, I still got to set up a phone number kind of thing, and I still got to figure out how to properly integrate that with all the stuff that I got going on, communication-wise. Because the issue when it comes to, like, integrating multiple technologies is trying to figure out how to make them all work together properly where I can manage it. And when it comes down to... what I got going on, the reason why me and Mike Bluehair are now using Discord mainly to talk with each other is because if there's something going on with the audio, we can adjust it. Well, I'm able to adjust it on my side of things to better, so everybody can hear it and all that stuff. When it comes to, like, with Hangouts and stuff like that, I can't adjust people's individual volumes. It causes problems. And that's been an issue with, I'm trying to remember who was the one person we had that was, the volume was all over the place, and I'm sitting there fighting to constantly keep the volume adjusted properly while also being able to try to talk and then fight it between you and them. It was probably about over a month ago there, so.
I don't remember. I'm too feisty and cranky to think right now. I'm gonna sip some water.
But yeah, as is, when it comes to doing this live stream stuff, and especially the way I got it set up, it is not easy. Especially that where it benefits both me and Mike Bluehair at the same time, where I'm using 2 different applications to do the exact same thing. What's Hangouts? That is the voice and video over IP thing that Google does.
You know, YouTube would make quite a bit more money for itself if it would make Hangouts more user-friendly.
Yeah, but Hangouts is part of the Google Plus ecosystem that failed. And is this tech support? It could be in a way, but as is, people...
Do you believe that they're going to just shut down the Hangouts? YouTube?
I don't think so. It's too well integrated into YouTube and too often used that it's
Okay.
not much of an issue. Well, it's too integrated with YouTube itself and such a valuable tool just in its basic form right now that they're not going to get rid of it. Though it does have strong competitors that are but aren't used because it's just you got to set up accounts and all that stuff and then get people to roll over to it. Where you make a YouTube account, you're a YouTuber. Well, guess what? You have access to Hangouts already. So it's just a matter of logging in, make your settings proper, and you're good to go.
Gravy.
Kind of like FaceTime. Yeah, YouTube FaceTime. And even then, I barely use Facebook anymore except for certain things. Facebook is
I use Facebook to communicate with people that I wouldn't otherwise be able to in other parts of the country. And that's all it's good for. Aside from giving me stuff to post on Steemit, there's a lot of stuff that I posted. You know how YouTube will send you a memo saying, you posted blah, blah, blah last year or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm cut and pasting that as Steemit articles into my Steemit blog because it's good content. It just didn't get it just didn't get looked at on Facebook, and people are responding to it favorably. So I'm transferring a lot of my old Facebook stuff onto Steemit because why not? By the way, if you're not joining Steemit and following me there, you're an asshole. So don't be an asshole and follow me on Steemit.
Yeah, let's see here. He hasn't hopped in yet. Is he having issues, or I think he's trying to figure it out. Yeah, but I don't have a good integration with the whole phone thing going on at the moment. And let's see here.
Yeah, Charlie Dog, I'm going to email you my phone number. I'll check my email for your message as soon as I get off the show. Okay, brother?
Yeah, and then I got someone posting something on my thing, something about C-SPAN Junior titled... Okay, I'll have to check that out. It's a video. C-SPAN video. Well, wait, it's a C-SPAN video, so... This is quite interesting. Kathleen Clever and Pennell Joseph on Civil Rights and Race Relations in 1968. Martin Luther King Jr. That's a little bit interesting. You want to give this a quick listen to?
Of course I do.
Because
sounds interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like it actually might fit in with what we've been talking about so far.
Dr. King was a brilliant man.
Well, many people that were involved within the civil rights stuff actually had some very good things to talk about and very interesting perspectives. See if I can get this to load up right. Okay, let's pop open this and that. Dang it, who was that that sent that to me? Give me a sec here so this way I can give proper credit to my audience. That was North Idaho Exposed. So let's go ahead and get that to pop up here on our windows. And as usual, I'll mute my mic. Well, let me fix this a little bit here. Okay, I'm gonna have to shrink this. That should fix that, I think. It fixes it mostly. Okay. Let me hit play.
We continue our series, 1968, America in Turmoil, with a look at civil rights and race relations, including Martin Luther
this is
King
an hour and a
Jr.'s
half
Poor People's
long.
Campaign.
Yeah, I never mind on that part. I would thought it might be like a quick 10-minute thing, but it's just, we got maybe about 20 minutes left on the show, so making BLM okay. Well, BLM started out on good intentions. It's just fallen apart by the wayside. And thank you for the subscribe. I think that was on my channel. Give me a sec here. No, that was on your channel. You got a subscriber on your channel, Mike. But I take it Charlie Dog still hasn't got... you're going to talk with Charlie Dog after the show then? Mike, did I lose you? Oh, Mike muted himself. Okay, so Mike's...
I'm gonna get back with Charlie. He just needs to shoot me an email because I lost his, and I'll call him, and we'll probably end up bringing him on the show on Friday because he's going through some stuff right now. So.
Yeah, I mean the incident that well, we might as well go ahead and review Charlie Dog's incident actually real fast.
Right, play that so the audience can see content or context.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and get the context back into play here. No, I did not want to do that. Auto suggesting. Oh, you already got the YouTube there. Let's see here. Dang it. Let me look at his. Trying to pull it up properly here. No, 84. That's what it was. Charlie Dog 84. So I typed in the wrong number. I don't know why 64 is sticking in my head for some reason. But, yeah, he had this video, which we actually, me and Mike Bluehair corrected, I think, a while back.
Because I was trying to protect my family.
We gotta wait a minute here for this ad to run through real fast. Hey, and Mike, we're watching your ad. Also, it seems there's been a lot of gun support advertisements on YouTube. What do you think about that part? Isn't that quite interesting?
I think that when controversy is stimulated in the political dialogue in the blogosphere, that it feeds on itself. The right and the left eat each other in this perpetual cycle of bullshit that, of course, YouTube is going to allow some gun advertising on their channel and on their platform.
Oh, yeah. Which is quite interesting. Well, we don't like you talking about it on our platform, but we'll go ahead and allow you to pay us so you can talk about it on our platform, kind of bullshit.
Oh, sure. It's like Facebook sending me these insulting posts all the time. When I post something that gets traction on Facebook, Facebook sends me an email asking me to give them money so more people can see it. Like, I'm the content creator, motherfuckers. I built this, you know, and you want me to give you money. You know, that's like having some asshole show up on your front doorstep with a knife and saying, "Hey, man, this is a really nice house. Since you have this really nice house, give me money." Like, hell no. Facebook.
Yeah, anyway, I got the video playing here, and let's see here. Let's get to the point. Here we go. It's following behind a cop car. And you put up a little timer here, so you got a little bit more. He pulls out the gun.
Riding my bike.
And all he's doing is following with the cell phone recording. So it's quite interesting how this cop freaks out on him. I love the little timer overlay you threw over that.
Thanks.
I'm just riding my bike.
But yeah, that incident blew up big time, and he's had other run-ins with that police department that he's dealing with too, over the rest. And I've seen some of his other video work and all that stuff. I don't agree with how he conducts himself. Nonetheless, I mean, he had use of threat force thrown at him and stuff like that. That is a big, huge issue.
Yeah, I mean, people can argue they don't like the particular guy's tactics. I mean, personally, depending on the situation, I agree with the way he does, you know, depending on the situation. But he has every legal right to do it. And if cops are so paranoid that if somebody spends a few seconds on their bumper, that they're pulling weapons on people. Could you imagine if the cop is just driving down the street and does that to traffic behind him? I mean, that's just insane behavior.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, I feared for my life. Dude, you're the one with the gun. You're the police officer. You have a radio to call for backup. I mean, the guy's on a bike. You're in a car. You could easily just speed off and leave him in the dust.
Well, yeah, he could have sped up out of the parking lot. Problem solved.
Yeah, I mean, or if you really wanted to, you could sit there and turn on his emergency lights and then try to detain him for whatever reason that he could prop up. There's many different avenues to handle that. He didn't have to pop out and point a gun at him.
No.
That is beyond proper use of force for a situation of someone following you.
I've had the conversation with cops, you know, off the record, showing him this video, you know, while out cop watching, and the word bullshit was used, and it wasn't used by me.
Yeah, you gotta be. Here's the thing: if you're gonna be an egotistical maniac within the police force, you need to be smart about it. And as is, doing something like that is not being smart about it. You're doing something really wrong and stupid. And as soon as that video gets out there, if the recording or any kind of recording gets out there, oh man, that's going to make you look bad. It's going to make the police department look bad. And you're going to have people jumping down your throat over that issue. Don't be stupid. That's the big idea, the big thing about it. Ken Avinoid, that cop's going to get himself killed. That's probably a good chance that could be happening. It was that attitude like he was conducting there. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just saying that, you know, law enforcement is basically it's a occupation that a sociopath is attracted to. And everybody that works in law enforcement is highly cognizant of this fact. That's why law enforcement agencies try to have psychological screenings to get rid of the people that are constantly going to be going off and that are violent. They want people that are more stable. And you can see an effort on the part of law enforcement to try to keep, you know, people that are going to react this way out of their departments. There's still a lot of problems, you know, there's a whole problem of law enforcement being illegitimate in the first place, in my humble opinion, but that's an entirely another conversation. But there's a reason why they spend so much time and effort in the psychological screening process to work in various municipalities, some better than the others. You know, some law enforcement agencies will just hire somebody based on the fact that they're ex-military. Never mind the fact that they're suffering from PTSD and, you know, that they might snap at any one given moment, but since they were in a war and they have experience, we want them on our force. You know, like, it really depends on which police outfit you're dealing with, but there are many municipalities that try to keep people that are going to react in this very way out of their police forces.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, and the thing is, it's not just also the municipality. They may have certain policies in play, but the people that are actually doing the hiring and interviews, they're the ones that are deciding. And so it could be also a culture thing where it's like, well, or a good old boy network kind of thing. It's like, well, I know Billy here, and he's applying, and he's a good kid in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and just give him the job kind of thing. That good old hookup kind of thing while going through the whole proper screening process. They already picked out who they're going to give it to. It's just they got to go through the proper procedures in order to get that person in.
Yeah, there's literally thousands of counties in America, and they all have different hiring practices for their sheriff's department. You know?
Yeah, someone said Neo Guardian getting arrested. Robert, I haven't heard of that, but then I haven't really been active this past week and a half, really, with keeping track of everything that's going on outside of Olmus Park. So I'll have to give that a look a little bit later, maybe a little bit later on tonight. I haven't had much sleep.
Speaking of Olmus Park, let me ask you a question, Bunny. When is the date for that big protest? Like when all
this Saturday, from what I understand, and people are already showing up.
Okay, so it's the 4th. It's on the 7th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what sucks is I have a place to stay. I have lodging out there, but I can't afford the plane ticket. So like I can't. My economic situation is so crappy with my ad revenue that I have free lodging out there. I have a place that's 2 miles away from the main event, and I can't go because I don't have the money for plane ticket. So that kind of sucks. But I guess next time, next time there's a large event, I'm going to start a GoFundMe ahead of time early. But they set this so close to when they're going to leave that I just can't cover it, folks. Sorry about that, but YouTube has saw fit to economically destroy my ability to travel, And it's not just YouTube. I bear responsibility. I mean, I recently sold a car on Craigslist. I bought a car, with the intention of fixing it up and reselling it, and I'll get that on Saturday. So I'm paid on Saturday, but I can't travel. I can't.
Yeah, it's too late. Too late. Yeah, you don't have the cash on hand to make that happen.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm often in a similar situation, and I can't. I have only so much cash on hand, and I have bills that. I mean, everybody's got bills to cover and stuff like that it has to go to. We might be able to squeeze it out if we know we got another check coming in on a certain day and all that stuff, but that's dependent on the situation. Go ahead.
I need to stop bitching and produce better content, like that, it's ultimately my responsibility. But, hopefully things will get better for me.
Yeah. And anyway, we are actually 10 minutes out from the end of 9 minutes out from the end of the hour. I guess we should probably get ready to end the stream for tonight's thing, and thank you all for that have tuned in or have tuned in and all that stuff. Do you want to go ahead first and do your little plug spiels, or should I do mine?
You do yours, I'll do mine last.
All right, let me go ahead and take this back down here, and oops, let's see here. There we go. Okay, this is Strategic Non-Compliance. Thank you for watching us for the day. We have our show on twice a week, so this way both East and West Coast have a chance to participate in the live thing. And News Now Sweden, I'll give you a comment on that here in a sec. As is, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific time frame, so this way the East Coast has a chance to talk with us and listen in and all that stuff. And Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time frame, so this way the West Coast has a chance to hop in and be able to chat with us and all that fun aspect. Speaking of, I am live streaming at least twice a week with the Strategic Non-Compliance, and like every other week, if not every weekend, I try to do my little weekend bar hopping and cop watching roams of the Eugene downtown area. As is, you can catch me on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Mixer, and Stream Me. On those 5 platforms I live stream to, in order to make sure that it is harder to stop my live streams from happening or have an interruption. If something happens, you can go and check out those other ones as a possible backup if something happens with the YouTube account, which is usually my primary. Also, don't forget to check out my BitChute backup, which I do have a link to in my About page. Go ahead, Mike.
Nice. BitChute's awesome. I've been reading about them. So yeah, Strategic Non-Compliance, if you guys want this to continue and continue to thrive, please do smash those lovely super chat buttons. If you don't want to smash the super chat button, there is a way you can help me out. You can sign up for Virtual Shield. Yeah. Holla holla Della Bill. Okay. You can contribute through signing up for Virtual Shield. Virtual Shield is a VPN that protects your internet browser activity. I've read very carefully through their legal agreement, and their infrastructure isn't even set up to where they can record your internet activity. Although they do claim that they'll give your personal information, basically your name and your address, if subpoenaed by courts. So it's one of the better VPNs that I've seen out there. You can sign up for Virtual Shield because I am an affiliate, and that helps me out a lot. Please do consider signing up for Steemit and following me there, because that's where I'm putting a lot of my emphasis of my blogging. And if you want to hear more about my insane rantings about anarchism and all that other fun stuff, you can always check out my Steemit blog, because you'll get more perspective of my opinion on, life and liberty and everything, and blah, 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 blah. Thanks for watching, people.
And as for New South Sweden, I view or Snowden, or I think whoever was asking that question about the Second Amendment audit. The way I view it is, it's an exercise of a civil right that is legally granted to us, and I say it should be exercised as much as possible. As it is, that is my statement on that, because I also support what's happening over with the activism over in Olmsted Park. So that's my, good stance on that. As is, do you want to go ahead and end this a little bit early? Because I got to sort of do another pee break here. I drank a little bit too much water today.
Yeah, man, I want to go out there and get... I have to tell Connor's blog, thank you, Connor. You fucking rock, brother. I appreciate you smashing that super chat, because, you know, every little bit counts, and, you know, we got to keep this truth train running. All right. Yeah. It was good talking to you, Bunny. Thanks for the fun show.
News Now Sweden, shoot me an email, bbioutreach@gmail.com. Maybe we'll have a public discussion or something like that. We can set up the talk on something like that. Anyway, you guys have a good evening, and we got a lot of stuff to take care of.